The authorities in Damascus have called on Syrians who have fled the country, 1.5 million of whom live in Lebanon, to return. The current government, headed by Mohammed al-Bashir, is grappling with a country still in great insecurity. France 24's James Andre is in Damascus. James, this transitional government that has succeeded Bashar al-Assad's regime is facing stiff challenges. What is the situation on the ground there in Damascus as you see it?
Well, look, I'm actually standing in Omiyad Square where a large protest was expected to take place today. It was eventually postponed, but those protesting wanted to ask for their salaries to be paid. Also, there were many civil servants who've actually been forced to step down from their jobs by the new administration because of their ties with the former regime, who are complaining about the lack of clarity as to their situation. And these are big numbers. If you take the army alone, it's 400,000 people who were members of the army. Now, of course, there are officers, there are fighters, but there are also members of, the organization, the administration. Also, when it comes to, for example, the finance ministry, well, we're talking about over 300,000 people who are on unpaid leave, if you will, at this stage, who do not know if they will be invited back to their jobs. And of course, there are the pensioners also who are saying that they've not been having any money for nearly 2 months now. So this, of course, is putting a lot of pressure on the people here. Now, these salaries are not big ones. You know, the maximum amount a civil servant will make here in Syria is around $50 per month. But of course, this is the people's livelihoods. And of course, there is mounting anger when it comes to this situation in the country. And this is something that Mohammed al-Shara needs to address rapidly if he wants to manage to stabilize this country. It's also important to note that Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, the organization that he heads and who is now in charge here, does not have the manpower, of course, to run a whole country at this stage. So, yes, there is mounting pressure on these salaries and, of course, a dire economic situation in the country as a whole due to sanctions.
Now, you've mentioned those economic problems. There's also pensioners don't know when they might get their next allocations. And of course, there is this fact that an awful lot of the population is embedded one way or another in the former regime. And in a way, it's similar to what happened after the fall of Saddam Hussein in neighbouring Iraq. But what is the government doing about this? How is it going to tackle it?
Well, the government needs to manage to form an administration quite rapidly. But according to some figures, Hayat Tahrir al-Sham had about 7,000 people in Idlib, basically running one much smaller province. Now, what's happening here, and we spent our day yesterday with the new police here, if you will, the police of Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, who is trying to control and secure the streets of Damascus. Well, of course, they're very short on manpower. The leader of that specific police post we were in told us that he needed more people, and this is being addressed by recruitment. Now, for example, just today, the administration announced that they would be recruiting some new border patrols. They're calling upon men from 18 to 25 maximum to join and be trained. We're also hearing that the first new promotion is coming out of the police academy. So these are new officers that are going to be deployed on the streets. But yesterday there was a sense of normalcy. We went on a night patrol and we saw people in the cafes. It was Thursday evening, as you know, that's the beginning of the weekend here. People were out and about enjoying themselves. A lot of groups of young women smoking shisha in cafes, young boys as well. Young men also telling us that they'd not been going out like this for 4 years simply because they were afraid of getting arrested or simply being taken by the army to be put on the front lines. So they would not go out, and it was only women at that specific location. We were at a popular mall here in the Syrian capital. So yes, basically the administration needs to manage to offer security very rapidly, but also start giving out salaries to these civil servants rapidly if they want to achieve stability. And indeed, it's very important in order to unify and pacify Syria at this stage. And it's a big challenge.
Thank you very much for that, James Andre, who's in Damascus for France 24.